Today's session of Family Court with Judge Penny. Mom is suing Dad for the funds he plundered from her Christmas Club account.
He took out $729.
I don't believe that I owe that money. I think she's forgetting that, we pool our money together.
But his anger issues with his 12-year-old daughter may be the bigger problem.
He screams and he yells and he screams and he yells. He does not give consequences.
He just started yelling at me.
What did you do?
Yell back.
I'm right there in the room as they're going at it. I hear everything that's going on.
Yeah, I can get loud when the time comes, but that's usually after being disrespected.
Where'd you get all this yelling from?
We all feel like we have to tiptoe so we don't get Dad mad.
Families in crisis. I know exactly what they're facing. I have been there from a life of hardship. I was able to build a lifetime of experience. Now, after years of serving on the bench, I use the law to fight for families. It's not only about verdicts. It's about solutions. It's about the compassion and the mercy that justice requires. I'm Judge Penny Brown Reynolds, and in my court, family comes first.
Staci Schneider is suing her husband George for $527.99 he took from the family Christmas fund. George says he doesn't owe anything. He claims he repaid the money and more through other family expenses.
Your Honor, all parties are sworn in.
Thank you, Dane. Staci,
Yes.
you're here today suing your husband George, right?
Yes, I am.
Tell me why.
I'm here today because I work a full-time job like most people, and I put money aside every week, about $15 a week, to save for Christmas, because Christmas is very difficult on most families, and I don't like Christmas time to come around and take away from the bills and this and that need to be paid. George wanted to go on a hunting trip and asked if he could take some of that money out with the promise that it would be paid back before Christmas arrived.
All right,
So
how much?
he took out $729 and paid back approximately $200.
All right. So you're suing for the difference?
I'm suing for the difference, which I believe is $527.
And 99 cents?
And 99 cents.
All right. Do you have your evidence with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let me get that from you. How are you doing, George?
Good. How are you, Your Honor?
I'm doing well. She said that you wanted to go on a hunting trip,
Yes, I did.
and you came to her because you knew about the little Christmas Club account.
Yes, Your Honor, I
And you
did.
borrowed $727.99.
I don't know that I'd say I borrowed it, but yeah, I did want that money to make that trip because the expenses for setting the kids up for school and clothing, I mean, it's our money together. I don't believe that I owe that money because I did make it up in the end, but I think she's forgetting that, we pool our money together, and so I don't feel that I owe that money.
Okay, I can understand that. That's your story and you're sticking with it.
That's right.
Did you pay $200 on it?
Yes, I did.
After you thought about it, now this is your story, that I shouldn't have to do it.
Well, I feel I did, get that money back to her with it and the family for their needs, so I don't know that I do owe that money beyond what she's saying on the 500 and some. That seems like it's taken away from the money I did put in after the Christmas, because I did pull money together for that. But
Okay.
I think that's why she's upset, is because it was after the actual Christmas.
Well, Staci, what do you have to say about that?
We all choose on how we spend our money, and if he would like to go on hunting trips, he can simply set money aside like I did to what was important to me and my children.
But, I do put money as a pool, as a family, to make things happen, and I feel that I'm being wrongly sued here for these funds when all my money is our money, and that doesn't seem to be accounted for in this situation.
Staci, do you work?
I do work, and I do agree our money is our money. But I keep losing our money based on his actions.
Okay.
Because if it's not taking the Christmas Club fund, it's calling me home from work because he can't deal with his own children. So
Okay,
I'm
wait.
losing income right there.
All right, what do you talk to me about that? What do you mean?
My youngest daughter and George, for one example, they're at home, I'm at work. The cable guy comes in. I wasn't there, so I'll just tell you what I heard.
Okay.
He asked Elizabeth to clean up by the computer so the cable guy can hook up the wires.
All right.
George's story is Elizabeth wasn't listening. She got really rude, started talking back, so he started yelling at her. She said she hated him. According to Elizabeth, She started doing what was asked with an attitude, but started doing what was asked. He continued yelling, wouldn't stop. She said she hated him. I get a phone call from work, you need to come home right now, because he couldn't simply say, go to your room. We can't deal with this right now.
Your Honor, the thing is that it was out of control, and I did try to handle it on my own. But she was ranting and raving so much that...
The little 12-year-old?
Yes, yes.
And you're the daddy.
I agree. I am the dad, but this has been going on for a while, and we have addressed it. We can't come to agreement as to how to handle her behavior lately, and I really thought that...
So, can I ask you this?
Sure.
Why didn't you say, Elizabeth, enough. Go to your room right now, or you will be punished. Did you try that?
Yes, I did, but it got worse and worse, and that's when I called Staci. She got even angrier and louder and meaner, and it was a little more than what she's saying it was.
Okay.
She's saying Elizabeth got angrier and madder.
Have you ever seen Elizabeth act like that with either one of you?
With her father, yes.
Well, I had a conversation with her where she's not liking things at home right now. And I know that we came here for the money, but you know this is family court. And we want to get to the bottom of what's happening in the family.
Still to come, both daughters gang up on Dad.
He antagonizes her, so it makes her even more angry, and it just makes everything more difficult when you just want the fight to stop.
Family court is back in session. Staci is suing her husband George for money he took out of the family Christmas fund and used on a personal hunting trip. Their daughter Kathleen is about to testify.
Kathleen, why don't you step up for us and tell us what's going on in the house? Because is your sister out of control, or is there a lot of arguing going on? Why don't you share with the judge?
All right, well, when my dad asked Liz to do some stuff, she can talk back, but then he antagonizes her, so it makes her even more angry, and then they just both do it. And
how does he antagonize, since he's the daddy?
Well, he just keeps going on and on and on about it, and he won't drop it when you ask him to, and it just makes everything more difficult when you just want the fight to stop.
What's your relationship with your father like?
I think it's good. I don't really fight with him that much.
All right. What about your parents? Do they argue a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you guys arguing about like that?
A lot of it is our disagreements as to how to handle our youngest on her anger, and you know, I'm not trying to take anything out on anybody. I just think that Elizabeth is being a little defiant, and her temper is giving her the way out from what she's really supposed to be doing. And I'm kind of trying to put my foot down. We can't come to agreement as to how to handle it together without her taking it personally.
Staci, is that true?
The reason why I take it personally is I'm right there in the room as they're going at it. I hear everything that's going on. Then he comes into the kitchen and calls me in there, and he wants to scream on the top of his lungs, replaying the entire thing, word for word for word. What's the point? I was right there. Why do I have to go through this again? Why can't we calm down, talk about it, and try and find a solution?
Okay.
We don't agree on solutions.
No, we don't.
He has his way, and I have my way.
What's your solution if she doesn't do her chores, Elizabeth?
Which, you know, you can take a cell phone away. You can stop her from being able to go to certain events or her friend's house or friends over.
So you want consequences for action?
Absolutely.
Okay, Staci, what's wrong
I
with
don't
that?
agree with what he just said. He screams and he yells and he screams and he yells. He does not give consequences. If you do not do this, this is going to happen. He doesn't do that.
So you scream and scream and scream?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. I think at the moment...
Because you're acting real innocent talking in here. But the girl's going to tell on you because, you know, you'll get ganged up on.
That's all right. I agree. I can get loud when the time comes, but that's usually after several times of addressing the situation and being disrespected. But I think that we have a younger child here that's a little defiant of the boundaries we're trying to set is what's the best path for her.
We also, we might have that as an issue, but we also have an issue of how you're communicating with them.
Absolutely.
You're that father and you're trying to work and mom works, and it's always the balance of how much time am I away versus being able to provide for them and what they really need.
Right.
So your wife is really sharing what a lot of women worry about.
I understand that.
You know what I mean?
I
And
am
then you're sharing with the fact that I'm dad and I'm working 2 jobs and provide for them, but at the same time, you don't want to set up a scenario where the only time they hear something from dad is always yelling. It's like dad against all of us. Is that how you feel?
Well, we all feel like we have to tiptoe so we don't get Dad mad, so we can have peace in the house, so nobody's crying at the end of the night. And it's not that he's a bad dad, because he's not. He's just under a lot of pressure. And we're trying to figure out how to get the communication back, and we're not figuring that out.
Well, we're going to help figure that out because you are a good provider. What she wants is to open the lines of communication so that you all can have it all. What's having the American dream if you're miserable? Right. It's almost like you have everything, yet you have nothing. And this is not to come down on you. I'm glad you came because a lot of fathers wouldn't have come.
Right. Well, I've always worn my heart on my sleeve, and I'm not afraid to admit, maybe some of my faults, but I don't, again, see that I'm totally bad in any respect, and I appreciate
Oh, no, you're not totally bad. I mean, I really have to commend you because you do care about them, and you are here. No.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do.
But what we're going to do before we leave is we're going to get all this straight because it's bigger than the money thing. That's just one reason, but we want to get. But let's bring in Miss Elizabeth.
Still to come, the daughter behind all the controversy makes a strong impression in court.
He just started yelling at me. He's like, "You're not doing it," and I was.
What did you do?
Yell back.
You think you can yell back at your father?
And later, find out the shocking aftermath of the case and what brought the courtroom to an abrupt halt.
It's okay, everyone get under the desk.
Family court is back in session. Staci is suing her husband George for money he took from the Christmas fund and used on a hunting trip. George claims he's repaid everything and more. Their 12-year-old daughter Elizabeth is about to testify on the family troubles at home.
So what is going on with you? Because I'm hearing that you just doing your own thing. There was a cable man there and you just showed out. Tell me about it.
Okay, he told me to pick up her on the computer, so I started. And then he's like, "You're not doing it," and I was. And then he's like, he just started yelling at me.
And then
while I was picking up.
What did you do?
Yell back.
You think you can yell back at your father?
I don't know. Yeah.
You're 12. He's daddy. You know what I mean? Do you ever yell back at your mom?
Sometimes.
You do? And what does she do?
Yell back.
Yell back. There's a lot of yelling going on in this family. Do you get punished?
Sometimes.
Like if you don't do your chores? What happens?
I get punished, I guess. I don't know. I just get yelled at, and then I do it. Sometimes.
You do it sometimes.
Yeah.
She does it, excuse me, Your Honor.
No, go ahead.
I would call it a half-hearted doing on her part.
So you're 12 years old. Let me tell you what we used to call this a long time ago. My grandmama used to say, "You smelling yourself." That means you're thinking that you're bigger than what you are. I know you're a tall girl, but you're 12 years old. Well, what's happening is you're not showing respect to your daddy and your mom because you can't tell them anything. You don't want to have to do your chores, but that's a part of growing up. Judge came here to tell you, you got to do your chores. You can't live there for free and not do anything. They're trying to teach you responsibilities, Mm-hmm. Do you think if he didn't yell as much, then you would do what you're supposed to more?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Elizabeth, that's not how it works. If somebody gives, you've got to give back too. It's the only fair thing to do. You can't have it both ways, sweetheart. It's a lesson you ought to learn now. You know what I mean? All right. Well, thank you for coming. We really appreciate you. All right. Very good. You can go out. All right. All right. Let's see what we're going to do here. I see what you're up against. She is smelling herself, as my grandmother would say. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yes.
That means she's thinking a little bit more of herself.
Oh, yeah.
Because even when I said if you didn't yell, then she said thinks she can still do it. You know those middle-aged kids, that's sort of how they are. It's only going to get worse.
I know. I've heard.
Oh, yeah, and she knows what she's doing. And she's playing both of you. Do you hear what I'm saying? You've got a good thing going with this marriage. You've got all the ingredients. But what you have to do is set down the ground rules.
Right.
We take more time to pick out a house. We pick out more time to pick out a car than we do to sit down and decide how we're going to raise our children. We just don't do it.
Right.
Still to come, a verdict and a stern warning.
You're gorgeous people with wonderful children. You have good values, but there is no communication.
Yes.
This is why marriages fail.
Family court is back in session. Judge Penny is about to render her verdict.
This is why marriages fail. A lot of times, finances is the number one reason why marriages fail, but a lot of times it's just the pressures of living. You're gorgeous people with wonderful children, you have good values, but there is no communication.
Yes.
Because you have to make this your priority. Now that you have to give me, George.
I can give you that
Okay.
100%.
So what I want you to do is sit down when you leave here, and both of you, without the presence of the children, decide what you're going to do when stuff happens. When there's disobedience, this is what we're going to have to do. Now, I know you're working long hours, and when you get home, you're tired, and sometimes you'll yell out of frustration. But I think that if you get a plan of action together and you stick to the plan, then that's a way to do it. What you're going to have to do is understand that this Christmas account is important to her, just like the hunting is important to you.
Right.
So what we have to do is value each other's needs and wants. And for her, this is important to her.
Right.
So you just have to indulge her for that, because she agrees that you deserve to go on the hunting trip.
Right.
So what I want you all to do before I give my verdict on the money part is I want you to leave from here and you're going to write down a plan. Just like when you decided to buy a new house. Didn't you all decide where we're going to live? You didn't just haphazardly do it.
Right.
You just decided, right? Or did you haphazardly do it?
No.
Okay, I think you're haphazardly doing stuff.
Well,
Okay.
see, there is a difference between the way she thinks things are happening and the way I think things are happening, and that's part of the problem, is that we can try and write this plan,
Okay.
but how are we going to come to agreement if we disagree?
Well, we'll compromise.
Okay.
You get to say one thing, she gets to say one thing, and then we'll just do it that way.
Fair enough.
But at least try it, okay? With an open mind. Well, let me look at the evidence that the plaintiff has given me. She shows me the account where $727.99 was indeed taken out of the account. You admit that you did pay $200 and that you did promise to pay the money back, and that although you say, I've given money in all kinds of other ways, I still think that she is indeed owed the money, because a promise is a promise, and this is not coming down on you, but I think she's owed the money. So I'm going to find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $527.99, the amount owed on the difference that Dad borrowed to go on the hunting trip. I wish you all the best. Please let me know in time to come how did it go, and let's get a handle on Elizabeth. Okay?
Thank you very
Court stands
much.
adjourned. Thank you.
All rise.
Reactions, a shocking update, and what made Judge Penny duck and cover.
The first step I plan on taking is to sit down with George and trying to hear his side on what he thinks is best on how we handle the situation before we start yelling at the kids, the steps we should take before we get that angry.
If we can come to a compromise, Staci and I, as to what's the best solution without having these fights in the process of trying to help our children, I think that would be a better thing for all of us.
After leaving family court, George moved out of the house and is living with his sister. The couple hopes that some time apart will help them appreciate each other. Both sides have agreed to counseling.
Thank you for tuning in today. Please like and share this video to help the channel grow. Comment your thoughts on this case. Do you think the father is wrong and need help? Or do you think the mother is wrong and not supporting the father in his parenting decisions?